So hey guys, Josh McQueen here, Fish Ohio Outfitters, and I wanted to take just a few minutes here to go into the very basics of roll casting. I've talked in videos in the past, as well as if you've ever been on a trip with me, you know, this is when I'm nymphing for steelhead or trout. If I'm using a bobber, a strike indicator, if I'm nymphing, I am probably going to be roll casting. This is what I've taught many of my clients and customers over the years. All good nymphing is done through roll casting. And a lot of people that maybe got into fly fishing and they're fairly new at it, but they can, you know, within reason, make a decent traditional fly cast. I find a lot of them struggle with roll casting. Once you get the hang of it though, it's really gonna blow you away how easy it is. I just wanna start from the get-go. I've got a decent amount of line here, but let's start from the very beginning and move through some basics. Just a couple of pointers that I hope will help you guys improve your roll casts. Okay, so number one, the beginning of the cast is the easiest way to do this is, of course, if we're nymphing, we're gonna be fishing moving water. So the river's flowing this way right now. This is downstream for me. You can probably see that in the video. I've got my line down below me. So the first thing I wanna do is have a little bit of line down and to start, okay? And make sure that that line is totally tight. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to gradually begin bringing the rod back. Now, looking this way, I'm right-handed, so we're gonna discuss both ways. I'm right-handed, so for me, fishing to, you know, fishing this way right now, so casting with the river upstream to my left, downstream is on my right, is the simplest way because I'm just gonna slowly bring that rod back with it tight, no reason to be in a hurry here yet, and then I'm going to begin to lift the rod, and right before I come over, I'll give it a little flick. Now I stopped and didn't finish the cast because this has to be done in all-in-one motion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly begin to accelerate through the motion, bring it up and over, and wrist flick out. When do I do the wrist flick? It's at the top of the circle. And that's what I tell people a lot. One thing that's helped me coach people over the years, imagine your rod is a big old long ink pen, okay, a 9-foot ink pen, and you wanna draw a circle on a big piece of paper. That's what you're gonna do here. I'm gonna bring this over, draw a circle, and at the top of that circle, I'm going to wrist flick in a 45-degree angle sort of thing. One of the things that confuses people on this is they know they want to land a little upstream of themselves, so they aim upstream. And this typically tends to cause the rig to come too close to them and too much direct. So it'll actually surprise you a little bit that if you aim a little bit more at about a 45 degree angle towards that far bank, you'll get it right up in the zone you want it. And when you bring it all together, it's just gonna look like this. So that's all in one motion. Again, I'm starting from the bottom. I'm getting that line tight. I want to slowly begin the bottom of my circle, bring it up and over, and wrist flick out towards the far bank. And one of the reasons why this is so important with a nymphing rig having so many different kinds of weights and wind resistances in different places, you've got your float, your split shot, maybe your fly's weighted, maybe it's not. A good roll cast is gonna keep all of that in one line and let it unfold, versus if I have to traditionally cast, those are moving at different rates. The float is lighter but more wind resistant than the heavier split shot below it. And so they don't line up perfectly. The roll cast allows me to lay all of that out in one simple motion, and it's all laid out straight and not tangled. Now, I'll go through, and again, this is just a short video on this, so I'm gonna go through doing it the other way. This confuses most people. I almost prefer it. Now as a right-hander, I'm gonna be fishing where the upstream is on my right and downstream is on my left. Okay, so before if I'm fishing this way, where the river's upstream is left, now the river upstream is gonna be to my right. Still using my right hand, got the rod down below me, got the line below me, all tight and ready to go. I want to angle my body just slightly downstream, so not straight across like this, but just a slight downstream look. Point that rod at it, and it's no different. Just beginning my circle, but stopping the angle of the rod a little shorter this direction behind me than I would if I was casting from where the upstream side is on my left. I would bring that rod back more. Now the angle of the rod is going to stop just a little bit sooner. Let's call it 20 degrees or so off of my body, and that's when I begin the circle up and wrist flick again at that sort of 45-degree angle to get it to land in the appropriate place upstream. That one is just the one that is most confusing to folks. It is easier to lift from the side. Put it this way, I'll explain it like this. If whatever I'm handed, if that's right or left, and I can extend the arm that I use to cast straight downstream below me, that means I'm about to make the cast in the upstream manner on, again, for right-hander, that's gonna be river to the left, floating down to the right. It's easier to just pick that arm up extended and make that flip, and I don't have to twist or turn my body. But when I'm coming from now that opposite side, I have to twist my body a little bit, point in a downstream manner, stop the rod sooner, bring the rod up at the top of the circle, and give it that wrist flick. Practice that one at home, guys, and this will really, I hope these little bit of pointers will help you improve your roll cast, which is gonna make you a better nympher and a better angler.